Hey everyone, and welcome to week 2 in the course. I'm just going to take you through a rundown of what to expect this week. So if we click into the content section and we go into module 2, we will see what we're doing this week. So obviously you've clicked on this video, so that video is at the top of module 2. And every week we're going to have our soft chalk for the week, which is where you're going to get your content. I just have a couple reminders here. If you click on this link at the top here, it opens up in a much bigger window, which, there have been some complaints, having to read it within Blackboard can be a little bit, difficult. So, click on that link, open it up in a much bigger window. And the only thing that I'll remind you is this is really your content for the week. It has readings and videos, and so you should really treat it as your seat time in the sense that don't skip anything. In this particular module, supply and demand, there's a lot of information. This is the core foundational material for the entire course. So, take it all the way through to the end. I know that on the last page there's a very crucial concept called consumer and producer surplus, and if you get a little bit bored or tired, you might skip it, and that'll be difficult because that's a concept that we build upon throughout the course. So really make sure that you take your time. A good practice in all your classes is to sort of give yourself 15-20 minutes of focused attention, then go take a break, get a coffee, come back, do 15 minutes more, etc. Don't try to break it all off at one point. Now, the big assignment this week is a supply and demand local research assignment. So it's fairly self-explanatory once you open it up, but this involves you actually going out into the Bend or Central Oregon community, finding an example of supply and demand, showing how it would react, drawing a graph, etc. And so that's going to take a little bit of effort, but you pick something that you go to consistently, a certain coffee shop, a certain movie theater, a certain restaurant, and it'll be a pretty straightforward assignment. You can see here that the Newton activities, like you had in the first module, are in a nice little folder there. Like I said, this is a foundational module. So module 1 was pretty light in terms of work, but module 2 is not at all. Module 2 is a big module. So if you're trying to map out your work for the week, give yourself a couple extra hours dedicated to economics this week. You can see that there are 6 Newton activities, and so if you're understanding all the material, that should be about an hour, right? 10 to 15, maybe an hour and a half, 10 to 15 minutes per module. But if you're struggling, that can be quite a bit. So, but certain modules are going to have a lot of work in them, and certain modules are going to be on the lighter side. This is a week that is definitely requires a little bit more attention. And then you have your standard assessment at the end. So that's it. I just want to remind you about a couple of other things. I said it last week as well. Don't forget that you have this student study materials folder, and there's a really nice review sheet for most modules. So for example, the basic economics study sheet is for module 1. Here's a supply and demand study guide for module 2. Here's a solution set if you're, when you want to see the answers to see if you got them correct. And then these other things are sort of as you're preparing for the midterm. And again, keep on track with everything over here. You can see that the outside book reading assignment is here. You do have to read an outside book during this course. You have the entire course to read it. It's not due till the last day of class. There's 4 choices there. And Yeah, the write-up is not going to take longer than about 10 minutes. It's basically writing an email to a friend, whether you would recommend it or not. So the real work is just reading a book, and some of these are really interesting. Most students really love super freakonomics when they get to it. All right, so that's module 2. Good luck this week, and please text or email with any questions.